Hey, hello and welcome to another episode, Manfred Mentors 3. Today, we're going to look at the Trino community broadcast episode that we're actually going to air tomorrow. And there's some pre-production work that needs to be happening. So I'll show you how that's done. The screen. All right, let's go back to this one more time. All right. As you can see, first small episode and already some mess ups, but that's what it is. It's a live stream, so not to worry. So here you see the Trino website community broadcast. This is the section where we pre-announce what's coming up next, and we want to turn this into this kind of thing where we have the video, a bit of information on hosts and guests, whatever we're going to talk about in terms of releases, and then the topic itself and rounding out. So we'll at least put the shell in place for us to be ready to run the event tomorrow. And as you can see here, it's going to be with Jordan and Pablo. So what's necessary for that? Well, I have the source code for the Trino website right here. If I run this here, I have this. So I'm going to go check out a branch, TCP, Trino Community Broadcast 77. This is just an alias for git checkout branch. That's it. Going to switch over to my editor, copies the file 676, rename it to 77. And then we go right in here. This is a data file, by the way. So you see this is in the episodes folder of the Trino community, of the Trino.io website. It's kind of like a YAML / markdown file. The way it's rendered is that it takes this YAML head at the top. So we'll just go through and update this here. So it's episode 77. If we look in here, the title we have is One Tool to Proxy Them All that we had come up with in the past. And it is going to be run on the October the 29th. This date is important because when you test this later, it won't render because it's in the future, but there's a trick to make it render anyway. So we can go Trino, Spark, AWS, S3, proxy, object storage, security, something like that. Those are just a couple of keywords that get added to the website. Now, this YouTube ID is important. We can take this from the YouTube channel here, right here. And we see here there's the video identifier is this one. And we will also be able to verify and test that later. So I'll throw it in here. With the ID, we need to leave that empty. We used to also publish MP3s for podcast listeners, but we don't no longer do that, so that goes away. The timestamps are also going to have to be removed for now. Cole won't be able to join us tomorrow, and all these other timestamps are wrong anyway. So for now, it starts introduction with me, and then here, this section is the introduction that shows up on the website over here, typically, before the timestamps in the overview page. And then when you see the actual page, it shows on the very top here. So this is kind of like a nice thing. So what we do here is I'll basically just take the text from the pre-announcement. And I'm going to just copy that over. And this is going to be another change is going to be, well, we don't have any reason once we're merging this after the show, this will be no longer valid. So what I can do is I can delete all this. There's no other show in the future planned just yet, but I'm sure we'll find some topic, or maybe you can even suggest a topic. For now, I'm just going to get rid of this completely. Or actually, let's change our mind here. we'll come up with something here. Trino community broadcast 78 to be determined. We'll do it that way. And it's not empty. And then we'll do this. Contact us if you are interested to join us as guest to talk. Similar information is already here, but that's cool. So this should already render. I'm leaving here question mark November because I don't know yet when we're going to be able to schedule this. So this is going to be fine for now. Now, as I mentioned, Cole won't be able to join us. So I'm going to be the host, singular. And then we're going to say Jordan Zimmerman. Instead of Joe, last time we had Sean and Joe join us. So I'm going to change this over to Jordan and Pablo. Oops. This LinkedIn link is going to completely go over here. And then Jordan is at Starburst and Pablo is at Bloomberg. Don't know title exactly. We'll find out in a sec once we go to their LinkedIn profile. And here we'll say Jordan Zimmerman and Pablo. Introduce us to a new Trino subproject and its use case, database proxy. That's all good. You see, this is still a mess up, so I'm gonna the YAML file needs this indentation here, and also I'm gonna try to make this a bit consistently looking in the source. Right, so this is our intro. You see, it's valid for YAML. We have myself as host. We have Jordan at, now this is star.io, and I don't know what link Pablo will probably want. I think it's probably tech.bloomberg. Yep. And let's just verify Starburst. Yeah, that works too. All right, so we got there. Trino 478 is in the final stages of getting ready to release. We will talk about the details in the next episode. So in the release notes for the show, we won't be able to talk about 477. Well, we could talk about 477, looking at the release notes that are not yet ready, but that's it. Now, Trino Gateway 16. We're working towards Trino 17, so there's no news there. Other releases are not news. So the August contributor call did happen. I have to just find the link later. And all the other news are not there. And then now we're gonna introduce Jordan and Pablo. And then the rest, we'll talk about AWS proxy. This is mostly going to be material provided by them. We don't have a slide deck yet. And the only other thing I want to go is AWS proxy, the source code of the project. And then 17.8. Looking for guests and topics for Trino Community Broadcast. That's one. I don't know what other events we will announce. Can't think of any yet, but we can leave it like that. And I just find the URL for a second. It's just Trino AWS proxy. Just to confirm, AWS proxy, boom. So this is all ready. Let's just find this URL as well for the contributor call that we just did. This is here on the Trino source code repository. We have this wiki page, contributor meetings, contributor call October. This is the link. And you see there's a sort of a little bit of a recap that I created with AI of the video and then cleaning it up a bit. Obviously not enough, as you can see here, but there's always more to be done. So let's just throw this in here. Had some really interesting discussions, but you can check that out. Here's the people that joined us. So that's good. Now we can test this. This should be good to go. It's a minimal effort. The important thing I wanted to mention is, remember, I mentioned here that this is tomorrow. So if I go and do the usual testing here, so I do a directory here, there is a command called Jekyll run. If I look at that Jekyll run command, it's just doing bundle exec running Jekyll. This is a trick. It takes the first arguments or all the arguments that you pass to the script. So if I go /Jekyll, and it requires Ruby and stuff installed to find out how to do that. I can show you that some other time, but like it's ultimately all contained in the README. Here's some details. You have to have the right version of bundler, brew install Ruby. If you're on Mac OS, that's where I'm at. So for now, just go /Jekyll run. And you see, or as you will see, also you will not see, is when I go here now, localhost 4000, community broadcast, ta-da, this change is gone. So our change that we did to this file here, index, is applied, right? Looks all right. And episode 77 is also here. So if I go over here, however, it's not found. What's going on here? So the reason this is the case is this page is date independent. So the preview gets rendered. However, and this is kind of like only applicable in preview node, is the actual episode is only rendered if this date is not in the future, which is always correct because when we merge this pull request, it's always after the show. However, today is still before the show. So what I have to do is I can use this Jekyll flag called -- future. And now I can go back here, refresh this, and now the page is here. And you can see here, we got this text rendered, the video shows up. So we got the right URL, got our intro, we got this all going, the releases notes, got the link to that, got the presentation link, the AWS proxy link, all working. So later after the show, I can add the presentation in here, the AWS proxy here, and I'll just add a subsection title here, AWS proxy. just talking about what it's for and all that kind of stuff. Pablo has prepared all that material for us, and I'll insert that later to some degree. And the rest of it, we'll just talk of it off the top of our head. The only thing left to do is to make sure we got Pablo and Jordan's credentials correct, so we can look what they think of themselves in terms of title here. Senior staff engineer for Jordan. Beautiful. Oopsie daisy. And as you can see, he's joining us from Lisbon. So he's going to join us from Europe, which is awesome. I'm on the West Coast here. So it's going to be his evening. And then going back here and looking at Pablo. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I didn't update this. I didn't copy this down yet. Okay, well, so I made a mistake. But what we can do is we can cheat. Right, git diff. Here's the link for Pablo's that we deleted earlier in the other file. I'll throw this in here now. Where are we? There. So we can do that. It re-renders automatically, so I can So it re-rendered this page, so I can press and now it goes to the right thing. And he's a software engineer. You know, titles. I'll wrap this properly. Okay, we wrapped. So mine is correct. I'm senior DevRel engineer at Chain Guard. Jordan is at Starburst. Pablo is at Bloomberg. So all that's good. So git s. All right, that's it. So what do we do now? Next thing is git add dot git commit am add tcb 77 about AWS proxy. And I will be adding to this commit and amending it later once I edit more. We're just pushing this, making a branch, copying that over, throwing the PR up, creating a pull request, and we're ready to roll. I can obviously render this during the show locally tomorrow. I'll do some more editing. Sorcerer AI is doing some analysis on the pull request. Essentially, you see the deploy preview will actually basically produce the same thing as this that I have locally here. So others can look at it as well if they want. But this is all good. We need this mostly so that Pablo and Jordan can see sort of what we're going to be talking about, which tomorrow will be mostly AWS proxy, which should be interesting. And I'm looking forward to that, to chat with them, the two of them, about that. That's all there is to doing the pre-production work for Trino Community broadcast episodes. The rest is already like done in the sense that I've already created this thumbnail image that shows up on the video here. If you look here also on the live website, it's also scheduled on LinkedIn in the Trino Software Allocation account and on Twitch. Not sure if Twitch still works. Twitch is like weird. It changed, like it deletes the old episode. So you like if you go there now, you won't see anything. Then it shows up on Twitch and it disappears again. But otherwise, this is all it. Listen arguably is no longer really correct, but well, we might remove that soon, or might have to figure out a way to do the audio. If you know any good tricks on how to just get a YouTube feed also to be again on Spotify and Apple and that kind of stuff, and do that cheap or aka for free, that would be awesome, because we don't have any money in the Trino Software Foundation to run this. So it's all no cost, shoestring, volunteer kind of thing. That's how we roll. So I think this is it for today. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you tomorrow in the Trino Community Broadcast 77 with Jordan and Pablo, and unfortunately not Cole, but I'm sure he's going to join us next time. So thank you again. And just to see, we produced this today. Not too shabby. And with that, see ya.